police keep a watchful eye over an area that's become a war zone.
Daily life, normal without the shootings. We find it tough going here because people struggle with getting to study purposes at home. We have problems with parents. We have problems with the gangsters outside.
First of all, there's financial challenges. If I tell me, many of them don't even have sufficient breakfast. There isn't food at home. To come to school, we have our little secret hideouts and we call them to have something to eat. And, we before they write the exam, also, I tell the others not to notice anything. They'll just go into my little lab and have a cup of milk and something. So at least you start off with something. You can't study or write an exam on an empty stomach. And when they are here, the school also provides them in the afternoon with a little 15 rand or 20 rand, and we get them something
And the school is sometimes the only place of hope for these learners. So they come to school, even if they do something wrong, then they still want to be at school because this is a place where they would find that they can do certain things. They can still come to learn. They can still play their soccer. They can play them out, study sessions around. So that is the idea that we would want to have, is to have them busy, keep them busy at school, so that they cannot get into the mischief of what is outside of the school. We had in the 1980s, in the 1990s, we were averaging about 80% pass in the matriculants. It was just in the last couple of years that there's been a dip in the pass rate. So we're trying to get it up again. It's a challenge, especially in this area. I find that it is tough calling, and especially with the challenges that we had during the year. And during the first term, we had the strike, the transport strike. The second term, we had some fightings on the school between learners. And the third term, it started off with gang fights on the outside. So it has been tough dealing with the situation, but we managed it. We do find that sometimes shooting takes place, but you never expect it to go, or it's normally over within a week. Then they find some peace. But now this one had us going for about almost 3 months.
There were some incidents where the violence came onto the school, where they actually jumped over the fences and started shooting on the school. So that disrupted our learning times, and we were dismissed early. Some days there wasn't school because of the violence. They tried to stop it, but that kind of hindered us from progressing and learning and getting what we needed to know for the exams.
It has psychologically and emotionally, it has affected many of them. But we always have to remind them, no matter what, you'll write the same paper as Westerford, and any other school in Silverstream is not going to have a special paper.
The law enforcement officers has been with us just during the fighting, 6 weeks into the third term. Then they were dispatched to schools. So all schools in Manenberg has got about 3 vehicles manned with 2 law enforcement officers, and that brings stability to the school itself. So it means that educators doesn't need to fear any fighting from outside or outside elements coming in. So they can concentrate on the education program, and that helped tremendously. We didn't have any problems ever since they've been here. Our pass rate last year was 34.7%, very low. Yeah, in fact the lowest in the whole of the land. When you are at the bottom of the cup, there's of course nowhere else to go but up. And this is where the department comes in, because they now onto us and they're offering programs. And that is why we were so glad to get some of those study aids for these learners, because many of them might not know how to study. And that is the help that the programs that the gentleman over there gave us, the study aids.
For a while, we were looking for a school to sponsor with their learning guides or learning materials. But we found it difficult, and we actually didn't really have the time to go and find a school in need that we could work with to help them. Also, the supply and actually getting the rights to print the material for them. We hadn't thought that far as to how we would be able to do that. And then through our association with Paperight that we started during the year, we saw an opportunity to fulfill our desire to help a school with their learning materials. And then Minimum Press, we purchased the rights through Paperight to print the materials, and we printed it at no cost to the school, and hopefully it's been of some use to them and they've gained some benefit of it.
It had a lot of effect on him, you know, and as I said, like Shakespeare is very tough, like for a person who hasn't had an experience with it, so they felt that the Othello book that they got was a great help, like, you know, it was like their Bible for English literature, like, you know, and then a winning CV, I mean, if you want to get in anywhere, your CV matters, and in the maths literacy books also help them a lot, because they do maths in both languages, like, you know, so it helps them, like, and there's lots of revision and tips and exercises, so it helped them a lot, and they were very grateful, because you see, they can't afford these things, they can't afford extra material.
They welcomed it, and they're using it, and I must say that it seems like they are hardworking. Like I mentioned, they came through the bullets, they arrived at school. And if you call for the HSSP program, high school program, they come. If the teacher calls them for the Saturday classes, they come. If they called upon for the holiday program, they come. So they are playing their role. And it does look like we will make an increase in that pass rate, hopefully getting it close to 70-80%.
I'm going to study next year. I've applied at UCT, WC, CPUT, all for my first choice, teaching and law. That's my first and second choice. I take it as my opportunity to get out of the area. And getting out of the area is a goal for me. And then maybe in the future I can put back.
I would want to say that I chose to be here when I applied to teach in the beginning 25 years ago, and it's the place where I want to be. I attended school here, and there's many others also, can mention they all by names, and they want to be at the school. It's not that they would want to be somewhere else. This is where they want to be. This is where they want to make the difference.